I am on a mission to find the most offensive, yet safe, yet dangerous, yet sustainable, as in it's a pace that you can keep up for 6 to 7 minutes. Also teachable, as in multiple different wrestlers with different natural attributes. Maybe you're strong yet slow. Maybe you're strong yet don't have much cardio, right? A lot of muscle bound guys, maybe their cardio isn't the best. Maybe you're quick and fast. You can find angles well. I'm trying to find a wrestling style that combines everything into one, so I can teach it to an entire team of guys with confidence. No one, obviously, there's going to be some variance within that, but this is the way we wrestle. And the last few months, I have made huge breakthroughs. So we're going to be looking at Magomed Ramazanov, the 86 kilogram Olympic champion, his entire run at the European Championships. I've been posting a lot of videos about snap getting the angle, especially if you follow me on Instagram. You see my most recent posts about that. Oh no, Jason Nov, Kadi Magomedov, I made a whole YouTube video about him, and you'll see those same clips, or two of those same clips, in this video here, because he did two of those takedowns against Ramazanov, about snapping and catching angles off the rear attack, and that requires pretty good footwork, typically a decent level of speed, but you can always just snap guys, get them to their quad paw position where their hands are on the mat, or get them down to their knees and go front headlock. For slower wrestlers, for wrestlers that, I said this 2 years ago, Austin O'Connor, two-time NCAA champion for UNC, has one of the most repeatable or copyable styles, no, that's not a word, in like that I've seen used at a high success level, right? Very basic rear attacks, front headlocks, head in the hole. Ramazanov very similar with that, but he's way better at the snap down. He's way better at forcing that position, as opposed to Austin O'Connor. He'll go collar tie, they go over tie, he goes football front headlock. But I'll be making a video about him too, because he works into this system. So let's get into it. I spent the beginning of the video talking. So their ear to ear, I have no idea why he doesn't snap here. I just wanted to put that here because we've been working on a lot of driving into the guy, chopping our feet with my team. But clips that apply to everybody, they're ear to ear. I've completely changed my mind on this ear to ear position. It's one of the best positions in wrestling to shoot from. Notice how he ducks his head. You look at his nose, he's looking in between his legs, or his face is positioned to where he can look in between his legs. His head goes completely down. This clears the collar tie really easily because there's nothing to hang on to anymore. That's very important when you're trying to snap. Now, every snap doesn't have to be that way. Sajalayev, Kadi Magomedov, they don't snap that way, even when they snap from ear to ear. But that's a really good snap to utilize. So he gets in his front headlock position a lot. Now, obviously, he's wrestling other good wrestlers. He doesn't always score from the headlock position, but he's controlling there. He's not getting scored on from that position. Again, ear to ear, easy snap now. Tucking his chin into his chest, dipping the top of his head down towards the mat. A lot of stalemates that he gets, but he's not giving up points. His defense is very, very solid. Overtime snap by this guy. Look at the hand clears off because he ducks his head all the way down. Top of his head facing the mat. That collar tie is going to fall right off. In most cases, not every single time. So now he's in this quad paw position. That's what I've really been studying. The quad paw position from neutral. When you get your opponent there. A lot of guys, basic level, they let them build back up to go underneath. Nothing wrong with that. I love rear attacks. My favorite rear attack is a double leg rear attack, right? So you have to go underneath. However, sometimes they don't always react that way, as well as it's the least safe option, right? Because of the simple fact of you're still going underneath the person. Now they're not expecting it because they're recovering in most cases, but you're still going underneath the person. Lately, I've been studying getting the angle. So meat hook right here and pulling yourself to an ankle or to the hamstring and getting to the side of your opponent. A lot of times it's hard for them to defend it because you don't have to wait for them to pop back up. It's as soon as their hands touch the mat. It doesn't have to be a quad pod. It can be a tripod. It can be one hand. Doesn't matter. But it's very hard for them to defend, and it's even harder for them to re-attack as opposed to you going underneath. And now this video, so for some guys it's hard for them to do. For some guys it's hard for them to do because their footwork isn't really on point. Their speed isn't on point maybe. So Ramazanov will show you guys what to do when you're snapping somebody constantly, in the way that I feel like everybody can do one of these options. Either you're quick or you're strong, both of which can be built in the gym over time. So gets the front headlock on the rear attack. Now, when he shoots, there's a split second here where for sure, if you're Kadi Magomed, you're catching his ankle, right? If you're Ono, you're catching his ankle. You can catch the ankle right here. He already has the angle on his opponent. You can develop the footwork to where you can kind of pull yourself to that leg attack. But you don't have to do that. He just goes front headlock. He just goes front headlock. Everybody can get a front headlock. Doesn't require too much to get into the front headlock position when your opponent is already on their hands and or their knees. And he really likes the head in the hold position. So right here, his opponent's going to shoot again. Gets his legs back, go front headlock. I believe he scores from this one. He likes to go head in the hold. That's what he does every time he gets a front headlock. Or that's what he tries to do every time he gets a front headlock. And Austin O'Connor and me, I will eventually make a video about him. Should have 2 years ago after he graduated. But he has a whole head and hold offense. Head and the whole offense that he wrestles from. Look at that snap. Right into the front headlock. He's very good at getting those snaps. If they have a collar tie and their chest is facing the mat, which most of the time it will be when you're ear to ear, the snap is there really, really often. And a lot of times when you start snapping somebody over and over again, they start to stand up or they start to keep their leg forward to protect themselves against a snap. And that's when he just attacks that lead leg. So right here, you can tell from the position what's about to happen. Referee walked in front at the perfect time. But easy snap right into the head, right into the front headlock. He goes head in the hole. Now, in folk style, yes, this will be a takedown. But I just want to show you guys he got the actual takedown since this is freestyle. I have a lot of people who are freestyle only who watch my content, considering it's the style used by the entire world. So he goes front headlock again, goes head and hold again, and this time the opponent kind of just concedes a takedown. Very good, very safe position to use. It's such a safe position. Yes, he's not. Oh yeah, and also I have a whole video about this. Look how he's looking in between his legs. Looking in between his legs is not a hard concept. His hand is still on the tricep, not always necessary, but a good habit to have. He is tucking his chin into his chest. The top of his head is down towards the mat. His face is looking between his legs. That's how you can get a really, really good snap down. Like if your snap downs aren't working, you should probably try this. Just saying. Having a good snap down is huge. So Fine Silver is kind of standing upright, and he just ends up snatching the leg. Now they zoomed in at the worst possible time, but he does it again. So no big deal. He sweeps towards that leg. They start standing up to protect themselves against a snap. They open themselves up for something else. Now he's gonna snap, bring his opponents to their knees. His face is looking between, but the opponent's hand doesn't come down. Not enough weight on that collar tie. But from here, I mean, he's on his knee reaching up. Easy elbow control slide by. Even maybe even a shrug by, right? But obviously Ramazanov doesn't have that in his bag. Every wrestler isn't going to know every single technique. But against the Jack's Force, yeah, you're going over. Easy snatch. This wrestler was doing a really good job of like peeling Ramazanov's collar tie, so he couldn't really get to the ear position. But he was so worried about that his legs weren't as protected. And plus, with my obsession with beach wrestling lately, I've really been looking at those attacks where you don't have to hit your knee for. So notice this. He's posted on Ramazanov's trap. As soon as he goes to the collar tie, Ramazanov is going to jump onto both knees to snap him down, which is a snap that he will use. Snap him down straight to the front headlock. And then right here, I don't like when wrestlers do that after the whistle blow, because you're kind of showing your opponent what you're gonna maybe go for in the future, right? So I never understood like when people going out of bounds and then they do a lat drop real quick, and it's like to avoid a star call, cool. But as far as okay, now I felt it, now maybe you can't get it later on. Now that's not the case in this match, but just something I wanted to point out. You're kind of showing your hand for no benefit, you know. Also, look at these little attacks that he does, right? So he does this little threat in the snatch single. Watch the referee's reaction. This is all about pushing the pace in a safe way. He's saying action to blue. He's gonna show like he's trying to duck an outside step right here. All right, cool. Doesn't even get out of position to show that. And then he threatens to snap again. And then from that, the referee stops it, right, and calls him for action. In the folk style match, maybe that's how you earn a star call without ever even getting out of position in order to risk a reattack. Good snap right there. Straight down to the mat. Now, in the ideal world, we're catching a single, right? We're going outside, catching the ankle, catching the hamstring. But some guys are just really good at the head and hold position. Throw by attempt. Later on, another attempt. Watch, he doesn't even have to hit his knee to get into position. On the hook, circle, circle, circle. Right here, he's already behind the guy, and then obviously he hits his knee. Takedown is done. These are really safe attacks. As soon as he actually collar ties, watch this. As soon as he collar ties, same snap. Drops down to both knees, snaps him down, generating a lot of power. And then he goes head in the hole to that far ankle, which is something that Austin O'Connor used a lot. And he would threaten it, and then when he would threaten the far ankle, they would kind of go down to both knees, and he would just finish it, go behind. Now, this is Arkady Magomed. Look at the difference now. Look at the difference in athleticism and approach. Whenever Arkady gets Ramazanov to hit his hands or his knees, he's going around. And I could see how what Arkady does can be seen as less attainable than what Ramazanov does, which is why I'm making this video to show people no, still utilize your snaps, your fakes. You get guys on their hands, get guys on their knees. Do what Ramazanov does first if you feel more comfortable that way, or do what Arkady does. But there's something for everybody to utilize this type of snap style and this type of style from the hand fight or yada yada yada. Reattacks. I mean that's ridiculous, right? I mean that is ridiculous. I mean I made a video about Arkady a couple days ago. I said, is this the fastest 86 kilogram wrestler you've seen? So I could see why some guys feel like I can't do that, considering, you know what I'm saying? So again, that's why I'm making this video. You have a varsity lineup of 14 guys, you're gonna have a different styles, different attributes amongst your wrestlers. Look at this reattack, right? On his hands and knees. Hands and knees. On his hands in that quad power position. And I mean, Arkady just right here, man. Arkady's gonna score on you, and he's not gonna get a front headlock at all. He's gonna go right around and attack, which is great. Does it almost the same. The first takedown he got almost does it again. Catches the ankle but loses it. A different style, but they still want the guy on their hands. They both want the guy on their hands and their knees. They go to different attacks from there. Now, he has an underhook. Ramazanov has his underhook. You saw him use it in other matches. Arkady, I don't know why guys do this. I really don't. Ever since seeing Jason Noe versus Isaiah Martinez in the NCAA finals, when Noe was kind of just resting the hand on the back, I have no idea why guys do this. I've kind of been I was traumatized by that match. You know, like, okay, I would never do that in the match. There has to be a reason, because everyone doesn't just overhook. And Arkady has a good overhook snap from the against the underhook. Maybe he does it on the other side, but yeah, I have no clue why he was just resting his hand on his back. But that's something that I constantly have to tell my high schoolers not to do. So obviously he's open. I mean, that seems pretty obvious to me. Ramazanov ends up getting the takedown. He gets the takedown from there, and then he gets 3 gut wrenches to end up winning the match. Right? Really good ending of the match for him. Really fun match to watch. So that's the end of the video. No matter what, work on your snap downs, your fakes, and then your down blocking, right? So whether you down block to a basic reattack or down block to a front headlock. Those 3 things are foundational, super foundational, regardless of what you do after the fact. Whether you get the front headlock or you get the angle. So thank you for staying to the end of this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.